love, and light shapeshifters, and welcome back to another exciting episode. Here we are, still in wintertime. We're taking it easy, moving slow, reflecting on the last month of January. So happy new. I thought it would be a good time to return to this notion of new Earth currencies. I did a prior episode on new Earth currencies last year that you can check out, and I wanted to expand on that. We are in the midst of watching this crumbling empire and then looking up at the ceiling and realizing that it's actually crumbling on our own heads. So how do we navigate this building of the new earth to disrupt these Western constructions of what wealth means and only defining wealth through monetary means and literally the US dollar that has been positioned at the apex? So this is an invitation to step into a new paradigm with our minds, hearts, and souls. There is no going back to normal. We're not returning back to anything. We are co-creating the future in this moment in real time. So let's get into it. So the first idea is this idea of collaboration, relationships versus this idea of being alone. We are raised in a culture that positions this idea of the nuclear family as the center of community. And we know that indigenous cultures actually believe that communities were intergenerational groupings of people. The way that our homes were built, designed as compounds, the way our cities were built, mimicking the womb, the circle, the cipher. So this idea of being alone and doing everything alone is truly a fallacy. All of the people that you see on the planet with wealth did not build that wealth alone. All of the people that you think are successful, there's an entire team, sometimes companies that have been supporting these folks for generations. And so then they try to sell us the spell that we should get out there by our straps when we know that is not the case. So the first currency is the currency of collaboration. When I look at the life that I've built for myself, what humbles me is the fact that my life is a living testimony to the relationships that I have been building for over 2 decades. My employment, my entrepreneurship endeavors, my lifestyle living abroad, all of it is because of relationships that I've had I haven't had to apply for work, but work has always come to me. Many of the things that I want, I literally am able to tap somebody in my own community. I'm literally living off of the dividends of the investments that I've made through collaboration, through relationship with other people, through trust that I've maintained my character. And so my reputation speaks for itself. So community isn't just a buzzword. Relationships become an infrastructure that you can live on, that you can go to the bank, and this infrastructure is going to support you. Word of mouth has been some of the ways that I've filled up my retreats, my coaching programs. So even for those of you who are thinking about your next launch, a product or a service that you want to offer or that you want to remix for this year, I would really challenge you. I think the first place that we often go is, I need to post on social media. Most of the money that I'm making right now is not because of my presence on social media. It's because of the relationships that I have, business deals, contracts that I have been able to secure. They're offline, real interactions with real humans who know me or who know someone who knows me and believe in them. And that trust and accountability and reciprocity has been built. So I would invite you, no matter what it is that you're doing, to put a list together. Think about 20 people in your network. And don't always think about the people who are necessarily going to have the thing that you want, but maybe they can lead you to the thing that you want. Putting them on a spreadsheet, writing them that maybe this person I want to ask for a referral. This person I'm going to ask to do an introduction to someone else because I'm trying to get to this other person, but I know someone that knows someone that knows them, right? And I know that if they get that email from them, they're going to be much, much more prone to open it up than if they get a cold email from me. Set up a series of coffee chats, whether that's a Zoom call, whether that's in person, and just let them know I'm investing in the relationships in my community. You're someone I know, or I've always been inspired by, and I'd love to share my work and pitch them. Don't just have the conversation and then not go the extra mile. Ask them for what you need. I'd love it if you can do an e-introduction. I'd love it if you would consider cross collaborating with me on a project. I'd love if you could share my post or my new offer or the thing that I've got going on. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. Speak up and know that that currency of relationship and collaboration is a muscle that we're going to have to continue. Because when you look at the political climate, it's going to be collaboration and community that's going to get us through. And that is how it has always been for the generations. You may not have everything that you need, but someone else has the missing. And together, it is how we move forward. You know, in the tradition, the Orisha wealth is built in community. The next currency, and it really piggybacks off of the last one, is moving slow. When you think about an elder that you respect, someone in your community, and maybe you've been around them where there was a difficult conversation, I've noticed that the elders will just sit back. They'll just listen. They're not quick to make decisions, but when they make a decision, baby, it's on point, it's calculated. And that is the energy that we have to have right now, to not get caught up in over urgency. It's important to remember that when we are in a constant level of firefighting, putting out crises, that is a state of trauma. Constantly having to put out crisis after crisis after crisis, your body somatically is interpreting that as trauma. And we can't get our nervous systems to a point of homeostasis because we're constantly in a reaction mode. We're constantly in a fight or flight mode, fearing that if we don't act quickly, we're going to lose something. And the reality is that's not true. When I look at the totality of my life, and I'm almost reaching 50 years on this planet, the life that I've been able to build, I built over time. You know, I have a lot of friends that got wealthy before I did. But if you live long enough on the planet, some of those people have lost that wealth. I know people who were married and had the picturesque family, they got divorced and they aren't together anymore. When you're young, you have this sense that everything is just going to always be the same. And so you have to move fast. But as you get older, and most importantly, as you get wiser, not just obtaining knowledge, but the application and discernment of that knowledge, which is wisdom, you understand that slow and steady truly does win the race. So when you're faced with a crisis, when you're feeling like your body is going into that fight or flight mode, when you feel yourself shutting down because you've read a headline or someone has told you a headline because people are going to tell you what's going on, or you're looking at the news or looking at your bank account or something that didn't work out for you, take a deep breath, take a step back. Look at the totality of your life and remember, God has never left you hanging. The data of your life is a data set of triumph, of overcoming, of wins. Yes, you've had challenges. Yes, you've had struggles, but the trajectory has always been higher and higher. See, that's the part that we forget. Even when we look at the current state of the world, we're looking at 2026 years of the Gregorian calendar, but the Ifa calendar is 10,000 years, right? The ancient Kemet calendar goes back thousands of years. America's only 250 years old. So in the grand scheme of things, you are an absolute miracle. Still striving, still knowing who you are, having a sense of self, connecting with your ancestors, breaking cycles of trauma. That's who you are. That's the totality of your life. So don't let a minor moment throw you off course. So fast is fragile. Slowness is strong. And we're not going to build the world that we want to see through burnout. And I've gone to enough funerals. I've given to enough GoFundMe campaigns for movement leaders who have died broke, sick, alone, and burnt out prematurely because they took the weight of the world and they put it on their own shoulders and they thought that it was something that they had to fix. And I say this all the time. The only thing that you are here to do is to fulfill your destiny. That's it. You are here to be kind. You are here to not cause harm, of course, but it is not your job to solve white psychosis. It is not your job to single-handedly end capitalism. I get it. It's a noble cause, but we can't put that on our shoulders and then think that it's our burden to carry. And we also can't undermine the Most High and not recognize that there may be a divine plan here and maybe we don't see all that there is to see. Many of us have acted from a place of urgency, which is also a form of scarcity. But I'm sure you all can look back on your life and find times that damn, I totally jumped the gun and I was doing too much. And actually, I should have sat my ass down and took a deep breath. And what I was fearing wasn't even anything to fear. So moving slow becomes a superpower, a currency. It allows you to have sustainable momentum. And again, as we think about navigating this future, navigating this time on Earth, that slowness of pace, the seasonality, we're still in winter. It's not time to get riled up just yet. Continue moving slow, trust the process, and know what is here, what is for you is for you. And when it's time for you to pick the fruits of the blessings that God has in store, no one will be able to stop you from your divine harvest. The next currency is the currency of practice. I think the opposite of that is this idea of performance. We are this performative world. Politics is performative. If you don't post the latest headline, people think that, maybe you're not down. And just because you post a headline doesn't mean that you care about anything. We take all of these things as an opportunity to be seen. This is kind of what we show the world. But the real work and the real power is in this power of practice, being in this place of devotion versus optics and needing to be seen. And so practice is a daily alignment, daily integrity. It's daily embodiment, even when nobody is watching you. It's the real test of how you show up. How do you get up in the morning when no one's watching? Practice is also connected to this idea of being a lifelong learner. Being a lifelong learner means that we have to constantly have a mind that is opening to practicing something. When we're practicing, we are stimulating the creative part of our brain. The creative part of our brain not only is going to stimulate our nervous system, it's going to wire it in a way that's going to get a positive dopamine. It's going to start firing off, opening up your neural pathways to other ideas of possibility so that when you find yourself in a crisis, you actually have the imagination to think creatively about what's possible versus getting caught up in the scarcity mindset. It creates a level of discipline for you. Those of us who have a practice are always going to be higher because when you are in a place of practice, you are in a place of one, humbling yourself enough to know that you don't know something. Two, opening up your brain to an awareness of something else. Three, disciplining your mind to learning that thing and moving through that thing, which is going to require tension and discomfort. And through that tension and discomfort is going to come growth, and that is going to become more confidence. And as your confidence builds, your magnetism builds. And as your magnetism builds, you're able to attract more of what you want in life. The next currency, and we have two more, we're going to go over 5 today, is the currency of agility. When you are agile is almost like being a shapeshifter. Being a shapeshifter is being like water. Water being able to take the shape of any form. That is the type of energetic that we are going to have to step into to be able to ascend into higher levels of consciousness, but also to bring that consciousness down to a tangible physical manner in that you're manifesting on the planet Earth through resources, through financial stability, through relationships. The future belongs to those of us who can shift. The future belongs for those of us who can evolve and aren't clinging to outdated structures. And some of the people who are having some of the most difficulty because they can't think outside of the box. There is no idea of the world that they want to build. They know that they don't like Mr. Orange, but that's it. They can't tell you anything else. They don't have a plan to put in place. They can't be agile. When we say we want liberation, the ceiling's falling down, but it's falling down on your head too. So we can't cling to these structures anymore. We're going to have to be able to be agile and adaptable enough to move in new ways, to not be so stuck. We saw this in COVID. People were able to reinvent themselves. People were able to do pivots. People were able to launch new things. People who were looking at where a gap was and they could think creatively about how to fix it. So this is a superpower, the currency of agility. And lastly, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but it's the currency of the collective. And I need to have a caveat here because everybody ain't in your group. We say group and then we think everybody gets to come. No, they don't. So we're talking about like-minded, values aligned, and value add individuals get to be part of your collective. And it is in that collective that you will be able to thrive. And that moves us not just from thinking about ourselves as individuals, but from being in the collective place, we move into a place of stewardship. Not just get caught up in the ownership of things. We can't imagine a world outside of the world that we're living in. So even when we think about our liberation, it becomes, let's change the face of the White House and put it in blackface. We think if we put people that look a certain way or that say they identify a certain way, that somehow that means that they share our values. And we know that that's not true. So moving into this place of stewardship where we're all taking care of collectively and we all have a shared responsibility. And that's a consciousness that reminds us that we don't really own anything. We're really here to hold. We're here to protect. We're here to pass forward to the next 7 generations. And we're here to be in service of something that's bigger than ourselves. And that is what many of those people in your family knew. That's why we're here today, sitting in the seats that we sit in, because someone else thought about something bigger than them, so that we begin to disrupt the idea that when you treat people bad and you harm folks and you harm the planet, but you make a lot of money doing it, then somehow that means you're successful. We need to turn away from celebrity worship. We need to turn away from oligarchy worship. We need to work on our own personal body temples. And through working in our own personal body temples, we can begin to heal in community and rebuild the trust. Because let's face it, a lot of our communities have also brought a lot of harm. That's why I said like-minded values align and value add. If they are not a value add, and I don't mean monetary value, energetic. If it's not a value add, why am I hanging out with you? So those are the currency shapeshifters that we need to begin to. And if we just focused on those things, the currency of collaboration, the collective agility of moving slow, the currency of practice, think of how much sharper we would be as humans and as individuals. I'm reminded of one of the teachings of the IFA New Year that we're still in until June of 2026 was about keeping our blades sharp. Because when you step out into that battlefield, you want to be able to chop a motherfucker's head off. And I say that figuratively and maybe literally sometimes because you got to defend yourself. Our ancestors knew that they had enemies. They knew that they had to protect themselves and they knew that they had to defend themselves. And we are absolutely in a war. We're in a war of our minds and we're in a spiritual war right now. And so we have to, the first rule of being at war is knowing that you are in a war. If you're not trying to protect yourself, you will be eaten. You will be destroyed. And we're watching a lot of that happen right now to people who have placed their power in the hands of those who don't deserve it. And that becomes a level of stagnation that keeps them in that fight or flight, that keeps them in a cycle of hopelessness. It keeps their vibration down. It keeps them sick. It keeps them thinking that why should I even bother? The cycle continues. And so you are a cycle breaker. And so I affirm that you will listen to these currencies, take what speaks to you and leave the rest. And let me know in the comments which one of these currencies resonated the most. Okay. I have a couple of announcements, shapeshifters. On February 15th, we are officially live for our Equinox 2026 retreat. It is going down in Morelos, Mexico, in a beautiful town called Cuernavaca, which is about an hour and 30 minutes outside of Mexico City. Many of you may or may not know, but I've been hosting retreats here in Mexico for the last 4 years. And for 3 of those years, I hosted them primarily at the beach in Choncones, which is a beach town on the Pacific coast. And this year we have a new space. We are going to the mountains. We are going to be together during the equinox of the fall, the time of the sacred harvest, our ancestor season, the time of equilibrium on the planet. We are going to come together. We're going to visit sacred pyramids, bask in fertile rivers, and make offerings to the water. We have a sacred sweat and the Temazcal ceremony, many activations, sound healing. I have identified a gorgeous retreat center called Nikan Ka. It has stunning guest rooms, pool, hot tub, all of the amenities that you all would want, private chef. I could go on and on and on, but the quickest thing to do is just check it out at my website, shapeshiftyourlife.com. That's SH, the number 8, PESHIFT, yourlife.com. I got payment plans. I got local rates. I didn't raise my prices. I'm trying to make this affordable. I'm trying to get the healing to the people. So please check it out. I would love for you to join us. And if not, please tell a friend. Again, registration opens February 15th. And then also, if you are in Mexico City, we're gearing up for our next round of living room conversations where the Black diaspora experience comes home. They're literally in my home, in my living room. I have the pleasure of hosting them with a dear friend, Dr. Siri Brown. We're both ladies from Oakland residing in Mexico City, and we've been hosting this series since last year. We have an amazing lineup set up. It's free, so if you're in town, pull up. We'd love to host you. That's what I got for you today, Shapeshifters. Until next time, keep shifting. Bye. Supreme gratitude for tuning in today, Shapeshifters. Your presence is a gift, and I truly appreciate you. If you're feeling like it's time for an energetic reset, I got you. Download my free Chakra Tune-Up, a transformative 7-day guide to realign your energy, harmonize with nature's rhythms, and recharge your spirit. Head on over to shapeshiftyourlife.com. That's one word, SH, the number 8, PE, shiftyourlife.com, and grab your copy today. Keep shifting.